Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hey, thank you for clicking on the video. We're going to try to get into this pretty quick and make it pretty short. So, I don't do many gear-based reviews on the channel, and this isn't really a review, but, commentary. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of context on what I use. I use the Sony a7S III, the 85 1.8, and the 20mm 1.8. And you'll see why you need kind of context for this video here in a second. So, recently, I do filmmaking and also a little bit of photography here and there. But recently, I've been noticing that I need a zoom lens really bad. I do a lot of run and gun filmmaking in nature, so like hiking and waterfalls and all that sort of fun stuff. I do a lot of that. And I do a lot of non-set based shoots, so like shoots at barbershops, shoots at churches, shoots at wherever, and I just need the run and gun focal depth because switching out my lenses takes too long. Okay, now that I got that off my chest, this is why this is significant. I like the way these zooms or these primes look. There's just one problem with them, is that I have to switch them to get the other one, and that's the point of a zoom. But I like the focal depth. I like the bokeh, whatever you want to call it, and so, or tone, as some of you may get this joke. But it's an issue, and so I've been on the search for a zoom lens. You got the Tamron 28 to 75. You got the Sigma 24 to 70. That's the ones I've been looking at, and I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Obviously, there's multiple reasons for that. Mainly because I don't think it would satisfy me. And so, I got on Sony Alpha Rumors this morning at the doctor's office and saw that Tamron is developing some new zoom lenses that are in this range that I'm looking for. I said, okay, standard zoom lenses, see what they are. And they blew me away. So, one of the major gripes, and we'll do the good one, and then the great one is the second one. So the good one, all right, is they're doing a Mark II version of their regular standard zoom lens, which is the 28 to 75 f2.8. What are they changing, you ask? Let me tell you. They're changing the focus, the autofocus. They're making it better. They're doing their VXD line instead of their RXD, which is linear focus motors and all that fun stuff. So it's going to be better, because that was one of the main complaints with the 28 to 75 before. They're also going to make it where there is, what's the word for it? They're going to make it a little bit more compact and do a few little other things. I don't know. The minimum focus distance is going to be like 7 inches on it. It looks really good. But here's the significant one that I think that may change the market, guys. Like, and they're targeting it to travel photographers, but I think they're going to hit the film market pretty well here. Tamron is developing, and I got my notes down here, a 35mm to 150mm f2 to 2.8. Okay, you may be asking, why does that matter? Oh, let me tell you why this matters. This is the second zoom lens for full-frame cameras with an f2 aperture. So this has this 85, I love the look of it. It has an f1.8 aperture, okay? f1.8. It's a great look. This has an f2 at 35mm, which is basically the same thing. So, and then I'm also getting the zoom capability. The only other lens that I know that has any capability even similar to this is the Canon 28 to 70mm, but it costs $3,000 and it's not for my camera. So there's really no point in getting it, but it's significant because we're now getting email options for this kind of stuff. And I think it's going to be a really, really big deal. This lens looks fairly large. I thought that was, immediately important to say. Now, I'm looking at an article by petapixel.com, and there's articles everywhere. You can just look it up. So I find that it is significant. So yeah, some other good things to note. They're going to have the VXD linear autofocus motors in them. So that's good. That's awesome. What else is important here? Oh, so I did some research on their previous. Tamron has done other 35 to 150 millimeter lenses, and they have done an f2.8 to f4 for other cameras. Those other cameras being like the Nikon line and stuff. So they didn't go to an f4 aperture until around 105 millimeters in a lot of times. So that's a significant thing that you're not going to hear from these news outlets. So you're only hearing it here. I did the research myself. So we can maybe even see f2 up to 70 millimeters, which would be amazing, because that means that we're going to be able to get that really shallow depth of field at that range, which I think is insane, guys. Insane. And so, yeah, pretty significant, right? Hopefully we can see it at maybe even 85 millimeters. I don't know if it will actually hold f2 and then do a hard switch to f2.8 at the 105. We'll have to wait and see. This is just speculation, but I think it's pretty safe to say that we will see f2.8 at least at 105, but I don't know anything else other than that. And honestly, that's not even certain. But based on their last cameras and how they've done their technology before, this is how they've done it. Other cool things to note, the release date. It is looking like it's going to launch this year, not something like 2023 or way on out. This is something that is being prepared to be relaunched this year. So I think that's also super significant, because this could come out, at Christmas time or maybe even sooner. And so I think that's a pretty significant thing to look at. Last thing is price. Nobody really knows the price yet, but the Canon lens that we talked about was $3,000. It's not possible for this thing to be $3,000. People probably would buy it. But the point is that this is Tamron we're talking about, not Sony. I could see that. I can't see this lens being any cheaper than $1,200, just because I think it kind of goes into the price point of the other lens. They're 28 to 75, which I feel like they're kind of trying to keep as their not entry level, but like a little bit above entry level. Entry zoom lens for E-mount systems, but I think I could see it being anywhere above that. It's possible. It's possible we could see it at $2,000, but I very much doubt that as well. So, we have no idea, but just if you want my speculation, I try to keep up with all gear as much as possible, and I could see that. Oh, another fun thing. It has one of these programmable buttons. I don't know if y'all can see that, but this button right here, they actually going to have that on the lens itself. So that's another significant thing. They have a few switches on it. One's manual focus, autofocus. You can look at all that stuff online. But I just wanted to let you guys know and how this could change the market. Now, one big problem that a lot of you may have as a filmmaker is, and maybe even as a photographer, but probably not as much, is the 35 millimeter width, or that's as wide as it goes. And while I do think that is significant, I think that for most run and gun filmmakers, that's all they need when it comes to wide shots. Obviously, this is not a vlogging lens. This is for I could see this being for production lenses. Now, the cool thing about it being 35 and then taking the extra reach is that you could get another lens for vlogging, like a 16 to 35 by Sony, or Tamron's, I think it's 17 to 28 or something. And maybe just kind of pair that up and do what you need to do for that if that's what you're into. But like I said, I think this is going to be more for your run and gun shooters. This is not going to be a gimbal lens. I don't think. It looks fairly heavy and big. I don't think we have any details on that. So yeah, they did announce also that this was going to be this was the world's first f2 zoom lens for full frame cameras, and they retracted that statement because of the Canon lens we talked about earlier. And so yeah, and in the comments, because I'm really curious to see what you guys think. You guys didn't find me. I'm not that significant. Didn't find me unless you were looking at this lens. If you're a filmmaker and you are interested in this lens, let me know in the comments, because and tell me why, because I think that I'm questioning if this has potential to take over the market in that area. Surely it has to. 35 f2 on a zoom lens, dude, everybody's gonna cop that, right? And so, surely, right? So yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. Also, if you know about the Tamron's utility software, both of these lenses will be compatible with that. So yeah, that's awesome. If you have any questions, please also leave those in the comments. Like this video. I'm trying to be one of the first people to make a video about this lens. So if you appreciate that and want to stay up to date with this lens or maybe some of the other budget lenses that's on the Sony E-mount system, make sure to hit a follow. I make other content. I make DJI FPV videos. I make other videos that are just more about what's going on in my life or something that that I feel like I need to talk about, which I'd love for you guys to hear and see. I try to make them visually pleasing as well and challenge you guys to make you guys better. So I really would appreciate it. So if you like this video, leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.